You've hit them with direct mail, you've got them to follow you on Instagram, they've now taken an extra step to message you, and now they've come in. Now while you're in here, you can get the birth dates, you can get the emails, and now you can kind of do multiple steps of follow-up. Now you've got attention 3 times from them, they'll never go anywhere else and never forget you, and I will bet my money on that. So this episode of Locally Owned, we're going to be interviewing a very local business that's in my neighborhood where I live in White Rock in South Surrey in BC. It's Hillcrest Bakery and Deli. The 2 co-founders and 2 owners, David and Sheana, are going to be the ones, and I'm going to be picking their brain a little bit and kind of understanding why they chose to invest in a business specifically here. David's been working at this specific bakery since 1988. It's been around since 1972. Let's go and interview David and Sheana at Hillcrest Bakery and Deli. So as you guys saw in the intro, in this specific episode of Locally Owned, we're actually in my neighborhood. I used to live down the road, now I live up the road in White Rock, and it is White Rock, but it's also South Surrey, BC, at Hillcrest Bakery and Deli. We've got David and Sheana on this episode. Had a brief chat with them prior to shooting this content, and they've got a unique story. So before we get into it, as I mentioned earlier, tell us a little bit about Hillcrest, how long it's been around, your tenure with it, and kind of the move and change and kind of what's gone on here.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Hillcrest Bakery and Deli is the oldest business in White Rock. We've been around since 1972. I started it as a baker here in February of '88, so coming up to...
Wow, long. Older than me.
And then
That's crazy.
In 2011, my then boss retired, and we decided I wasn't old enough to retire yet.
Yeah.
So Sheana and I took it over. The building we were in across the street came down, and we moved into this location 3 years ago.
And how old is this building? This one's also fairly new, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty new. The space had been empty for a couple of years. I think it's 5 or 6 years old. The building is.
That's awesome. So oldest business in White Rock. I did not know that. That's a cool stat to own and have. So for those of you that aren't from Vancouver or know where White Rock is, or if you live downtown and you're like, I don't really come out to White Rock, trust me, come out to White Rock, it's completely different. Because even for myself, growing up in Vancouver, White Rock was just kind of where you went on a Saturday, but it's turned into a unique little town and city now, isn't it? Because you've seen it kind of evolve since '88. Tell us what White Rock was like back then to what it's turned into today.
Well, there certainly weren't any towers. It was a lot sleepier, a lot quieter. Big changes, that's for sure.
It kind of goes hand in hand usually with any change, some good, some bad, really.
Yeah. I really like how it's a small town, but the big cities, all the other stuff is sort of around us.
Yeah.
Like, because we own the business here, I mean, go to any restaurant, we know, we can't go anywhere that we don't know people. Like, we know business owners.
Been here for so long,
and people recognize us, and I really like that small town vibe to it.
One thing that you mentioned too is like no corporate businesses. Like the one thing that I was a big fan of, and when I first moved to White Rock, was it kind of reminded me like of the Okanagan, away from the Okanagan, kind of like that little bit feel. Because if you like Kelowna or Osoyoos, it's a very small town, mom and pop shops, and you got the ocean views. There you got the lake views. So it's kind of similar vibes to that. Sweet. So oldest business in White Rock.
So we're the 4th owners.
Okay.
But it's all my history, and the history of the bakery is all European baking.
Okay. What kind of got you interested in baking? And it's funny because my godfather is a pretty renowned baker too, so we'll kind of go into that.
I graduated in '81 in Kamloops, which is a mill town. I hadn't been a very good student.
Doesn't that turn into most business owners?
I hadn't been a good student. I got a job. I started off scraping pans, washing dishes, and then when everyone moved up and the 3rd-year apprentice left, I started an apprenticeship.
There we go.
That's
kind of how it worked out. And then what made you make the move from Kamloops to here? Was it a family thing, or?
No. Funny, I knew a guy who owned a mall in Lillooet.
Okay.
And he was an absentee landlord, and he had this great idea. He'll lend some young buck some money to go open a store in Lillooet.
Okay.
So I opened a record and tape store in Lillooet.
Oh wow.
When
Okay.
I was 21. Yeah. And then at 24, I filed for bankruptcy.
At least you were young enough to be able to rebuild, right?
That's right. Yeah. So that was was late 87.
Okay.
My mom was actually living in White Rock.
Okay.
So I'd always liked the coast.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go back to Kamloops, and that's how I ended up here.
And then you're like, I'm never leaving.
And he didn't.
And he hasn't, right? So obviously since 88 to now, tell us kind of I'm sure you've seen the business itself, and we'll talk about pivoting with this year.
Right.
We'll come to that in a minute. But it's like since 88 till 2020, the business has probably pivoted a few different times in a few different ways.
Right.
What have you, as being here since then, seen?
Well, the bakery originally didn't have a deli attached to it.
Okay.
It was just Hillcrest Bakery. And at the time, we were right beside the only liquor store in White Rock and the only grocery store in White Rock.
So you had a lot of foot traffic.
And it was
Yeah.
it was busy.
Yeah.
It was really busy. So the big change was adding the deli, and then we always knew that we were going to have to move it eventually. We just didn't know when or where.
Where? that must have been the fun one. The where.
The where.
The where would have been the fun one.
Yeah. So
And stressful one.
Really stressful.
Yeah.
Because
Considering David said, I'm not moving the bakery out of White Rock. We have to stay in White Rock.
What?
And there wasn't very many places available
Yeah.
in White Rock.
Yeah.
we wanted to stay in White Rock proper. And, I mean, it's a beautiful location. You can see you can
See the ocean. Yeah.
And it's really nice. It's just people finding us.
It's because you guys are tucked away a little bit.
A bit, yeah.
But
Yes.
speaking of that though, like even though you're tucked away, you've got a salon next door,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then you've got a coffee shop right there.
So Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving, we do a full takeout turkey dinner. So everything made from scratch. So we roast the turkey here, make our own cranberry sauce, peel and mash potatoes, our own stuffing, gravy, veggies, dessert, everything from scratch. So when we started it 10 years ago, we did one turkey, and
It all starts with one though, doesn't it?
I don't-
We didn't even sell
I
out
don't
of the
think-
whole turkey.
I think we had turkey dinner that night. Well, this Thanksgiving was the first turkey dinner we've had with our new website. We made 350 turkey dinners and sold out. We had a waiting list for turkey dinners.
27 dinners waiting.
And it's a funny thing about the turkey dinners. When we started doing them,
Yeah.
we thought it was going to be one or two people, like a couple, just ordering
Yeah.
a turkey dinner. And now it's families ordering 10 and 12 turkey dinners at a time.
Yeah, the one lady's ordered 14 for Christmas.
Wow, already.
Yeah.
So that she knows who's coming. Okay, now let's pivot a little bit here from this perspective, because I was on your website and doing a little bit of research. I like the fact that you guys went e-commerce. Very smart for the digital world. You guys do a phenomenal job on Instagram, so it's been epic. You guys also do birthday cakes, wedding cakes.
Yeah, we do a lot of custom cakes.
So tell me a little bit about that. Like because there's probably like Pareto's Law 80-20. There's probably 80% of your business is probably walk-in, I'm guessing, and then 20% is probably takeout, and that probably includes your cakes and kind of everything else.
The e-commerce has really
Helped.
done really well.
Yeah.
We also, at the beginning of COVID, we started doing free home delivery.
Yeah.
So 10-kilometer radius,
Yeah.
$10 minimum.
That covers quite a bit from
Yeah.
where you guys are.
It
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
yeah. It's it was set up to more of a postal code.
Yeah.
So somebody might be, 10.5 kilometers away,
Yeah.
but they're in that postal code, so
So
we
it
still
work delivered to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the way that it was the designer set it all up.
Okay.
We found though, when at the beginning of COVID, we didn't have the delivery. We had to switch over to that because I had to hire somebody just to answer our phones.
Just because people are calling
We
nonstop.
did, yeah. It just like, and then they couldn't get through, and they're
Yeah.
getting upset, and it's like we had to do something.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to transition here. This is not working. Have somebody full time answering the telephone.
Yeah. Just
Otherwise, nothing else is
Getting done, yeah.
So you can't put orders together
Yeah.
if you keep answering the phone, taking
all
more
the
orders.
time, yeah.
So yeah, it was we really had to get our thinking caps on. I was like, okay, we need to do something. And so
Yeah.
we can't continue this way.
What I love about what you guys did during COVID specifically is e-commerce is one, and then doing the deliveries is two. So that probably still kept you guys afloat while this was shut down.
We actually never totally shut down.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't
Okay.
totally shut down. We shut down access to anybody coming in.
So you could
They
still take it at the door.
order it, and we put a rack across the door that when they came in, they opened the door, we just passed it through,
Okay.
put it on the rack,
And then
they
took
took
it.
it and carried on.
That's
yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
You've got your front end store, you've got your cakes, you've got your e-commerce, you've got your delivery. So your revenue streams are pretty consistent across the board
Yeah.
from pivoting and kind of getting it done. It's just figuring out, okay, which one's going to be, obviously, given holiday seasons and stuff, those probably are just huge spikes in business, but it's also a huge spike in labor costs and everything else that come with it. Let's pivot a little bit from the perspective of like trials and tribulations in the business side, because as I mentioned to you guys earlier, like my background is taking businesses and scaling them. What are some of the biggest struggles that you guys have had prior to moving, post moving, and then kind of what's your plan going into, you know, once COVID kind of calms down and hopefully is a thing of the past and a distant memory?
The big challenge when we first took over was learning how to run a business.
Yeah.
I kept all the same bakers I had before. I had to learn an accounting program.
Yeah.
It wasn't super difficult.
Yeah.
Sheena's learning curve was much steeper.
Everything.
Much steeper. She had to learn how to manage staff and deal with customers, and that wasn't her background at all.
No, I worked with special needs. I worked at Costco for 16 years.
Oh, wow.
I worked with special needs students.
Okay.
In the school system.
School system, yeah, that's what my wife does.
I kind of let that go to
pursue this.
Yeah, and it's like it was a total turnaround.
Difference, yeah.
I used to play all day.
Yeah.
Now I have to work.
Yeah.
So that was the most difficult part since the move. The challenge, but the biggest challenge has been the huge amount of debt that we took on. And so the business,
which most businesses don't realize. Like you're so comfortable in the space when you acquire it that when you have to reshift and you're technically rebuilding the entire business for a lot of the times.
Yeah.
We are, because you know what? I thought when we first okay, we're right across the street. A lot of our customers didn't come across.
Yeah.
And what would sell over on one side of Johnston does not sell here.
No. Yeah.
It's really weird. I could never figure that out. It's like the muffins sold over there, they don't sell here. Like.
You think it's pretty simple.
Well, I did think it's, but that was kind of a reality check. It's like, okay, this isn't so simple. It's just across the street.
So we had sort of two things that happened. The business dropped a lot. After
down to what, about a third.
Oh wow.
About a third of what we had.
The first year we were down about 60%. Plus we had this huge debt that we took on. It was
and the lease and everything else that
and
comes.
much higher lease. And so that was the challenge. I mean, so our year starts May 1st.
Okay.
So just a few weeks ago, we finally got our year end back from last year.
Yeah.
So we're up over the first year to the second year. We're up. We're doing really well from the second year so far into this year.
Yeah.
We're up quite a bit, but still it's servicing that debt.
There's still probably
not enough to pay.
But it's one of those business moves. Now, what did you guys do because to be frank, for a small business, from a brand perspective, oldest business in White Rock, you guys have transitioned, adapted to the online space. You guys doing very well on Instagram for a local business, in my opinion. What else are you guys currently doing? And then I'm kind of, we'll transition into a few different ideas that I think you guys should test and kind of do it. Because if you guys implement the few ideas, as soon as these buildings open specifically, I think you guys can probably double your foot traffic in here very, very quickly.
When we had first opened the bakery, we had a website built. And with social and maintaining the website, I just wasn't keeping up with it.
Yeah.
So
you're a baker. Do that.
That's right.
Leave the marketing to somebody else.
That became very clear once we moved. Yes.
So they took over the social, and I had been writing a monthly email that I had been doing myself.
Yeah.
And then as things got busier and we saw what they did with social, they sort of took over the email part of it as well. And then when COVID hit, that was when we decided, we really should redo the website and sort of integrate that as well, and add the e-commerce component to it as well. And that was all sort of sprung from trying to figure out
what to do.
And
it's funny because doing this specific series that I've kind of jumped into post-COVID, because for me this was a pivot to kind of come back to small businesses. Like I said, I was so locked in my office working with international companies, and it's been interesting to see because a lot of I've seen businesses where it's like they just kind of froze. They didn't know what to do and just kind of let it be. And then there's people like yourselves where I applaud what you guys have done because it's given you a whole new perspective. So I got a question here before I give you guys this idea is how much data are you collecting from your consumers when they come in? Are you getting name, email, phone number, birth dates, any of that?
Well, that's funny because we used to have all of our staff getting emails, and it's kind of pivoted off. I think just because of the COVID and people weren't allowed in here anymore.
Yeah.
But one of our staff, that guy's poof on people right away. So your email address, he gets at least 2 a day, and he's only here for 4 hours, 5 hours. He's just right on them with that.
But as far as keeping track of people, something we started fairly early is we have a Google Calendar.
Yeah.
And our cake order forms have their name, whose birthday it was, what they got.
Yeah.
So you come in and you order a cake for little Jimmy's birthday.
Yeah.
And so I put that on the Google Calendar.
Yeah.
And then a woman who works for us really part-time also does follow-up phone calls.
Okay.
So we've got this Google Calendar. So next October,
you're following up.
she's phoning you to say, little Jimmy's
She goes about 10 days to a week before and calls up and says, hey.
Little Jimmy's birthday's 6th birthday. It's coming up next week.
Yeah.
You got an Italian tort last year, and I remember I talked to you, and you seemed to really like it. Do you want to order another one? So I've got that list.
Okay.
It's about, I don't know, it's got to be 3 years old now, and she's always on working.
Always on it.
And then she does follow-up calls as well.
Okay, so after they've purchased and seen how they liked it, how do the family like it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So we get that feedback. So we've got that calendar that we use, plus our email list that we've been building
for a while.
Probably about 8 years, and it's got close to 2,000 people on it that we send out an email to.
And probably pretty, like you said, pretty highly open rate because it's probably very local too.
Yeah.
The email list. So here's a unique idea. So you guys are doing Instagram, you guys are doing email, you're doing follow-up. Now let's go follow-up first. The girl that's doing the follow-up, she's doing it about a week to 10 days out.
Yeah.
I'd test to see if you push that 30 days out to see what else you can pick up. So it's like instead of being 10 days out, get her to call 30 days out. So anytime you call someone 30 days out, in their head, they're not thinking about it because it's 30 days out.
Yeah.
But if you proactively call it, it's like, oh, one thing I don't have to think of. Because if you call 10 days out, they're either in a scramble or they've already may have figured it out.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And she would love to do. She loves to be on the phone with people person. And she doesn't take no. Like
She just kind of does that, right?
that's just who she is. So yeah.
And then while she's having these conversations, you could even she can take it one step further. It's like get the rest of the family's birth dates or get the anniversary dates. So then that way it's just casual conversation. Oh, when's your birthday? Or like, oh, when's so-and-so's birthday? And she's just taking notes, but having it in conversation. Now you're doubling down the
She would
date.
be so good at doing that.
She does. We do platters as well. We don't actually do catering where I put on a
full-on
suit and go do it.
Yeah.
But we do platters like deli platters, dessert platters, fruit, cheese, meat platters.
Yeah.
So if she is getting a cake order that's sort of larger than a small one, and there's obviously going to be quite a few people there.
Yeah.
She does.
Tries to go for that upsell and get the platter.
Platters as well.
Yeah, I think like the platters is a smart upsell for the immediate because I always look at businesses, you get an order right now. It's like when they come in right now, they're going to buy whatever they're going to buy. But how do we get them back every single week? Right? If they bought a cake, how do you get them to come in and buy some desserts? How do you get them to come and buy a turkey dinner? I look at businesses, how do we get them, one customer can turn, like if they buy a cookie, your goal is within the next 12 months is to get them to order a turkey dinner. Right. So like that's kind of how I look at business a lot of the times. Is like they may start with something small, but they're gonna buy that big thing from somebody. It may as well be from you, right? Like that's kind of, and the fact that you guys already have someone calling out is like in that course of conversation. If you can pick up any data, whether it's like she may get 2 birthdays when she's just calling out for the original order. She may get 2 more birthdays and an anniversary on the follow-up, but they don't realize that she's just having this conversation. With them. And it's like adding those dates to your Google Calendar. Now, you may take one person's cake, and I did this with my uncle. I had him do the exact same thing in his bakery. So he took one person's cake, and now he's getting on average 3 to 4 more cakes a year just by asking from that one family.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Right, and like you'd be surprised because especially if you've already got that trust with them, people will just give you that information. Like subconsciously, they don't even think about it. They don't think that you're going to use it for business, which in the day it's business. Who cares, right? Like that's just the way I look at it. Now, once you do that too, is like so. Part 2 of that is you can even have her call out prior to Christmas or Thanksgiving or kind of all of that because they've already bought from you. So there's already trustability. They've got a factor of business exchange. So now it's like, hey, once you start knowing we're coming, our Thanksgiving every year is October, end of August, she starts calling the whole list, just checking up for the holiday season. It's coming around the corner. Most people aren't. Did you guys know we're also doing turkey dinners for Thanksgiving and Christmas? Would you like to place one? You can start pre-selling your turkey dinners in August for October or even for Christmas from those families that have already bought a cake from you throughout the year. And then while she's on that phone call, it's like, hey, so-and-so's got a birthday coming up in September, October, November. You guys want to place a cake right now? Even if they say no, it's in the back of their head that they've already been asked about that cake. So when the cake conversation comes up, it's not DQ, it's you.
Right, yeah.
Right, like that's kind of the way when looking from a sales perspective, like that's kind of how I would have that conversation with her on that perspective. Now, let's take a step back here. You guys have had to move, business has pivoted a little bit. There's a lot of construction. Most people look at construction as a bad thing. I look at construction as a good thing. And the reason being is the amount of people that are gonna fill, you mentioned it already, the amount of people that are gonna fill these apartments, they're gonna wanna spend their money somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? So there's one of two ways that I look at doing this. So you can get the data from like the most recent solds in White Rock, and you can even do, it doesn't have to be these two. So you can use this idea and kind of do it with anybody that's bought, like the landlords that bought or the new people that just bought the house that I moved out of in Pacific, they're moving in tomorrow. And you, like if you go in and get it, so let's just use these two buildings for example. We know once they fully open, you can go to Canada Post and say for these specifically two buildings, I want to send out a direct mail to every single person in this space. Now what you get them to do is on that piece of direct mail, it's your branding. On the back of it, maybe have your Instagram handle and say, go follow us on Instagram and then send us a DM saying, hey, I just moved into the area, or give some sort of a keyword, and then have them come into the store and share it, and you guys give them a free cheesecake or something small for free. What you've done there is you've got attention with the direct mail. Hypothetical numbers, you send out 1,000, maybe 250 to 300 will follow you on Instagram. But you've just increased your Instagram followership and viewership overnight just by doing that. Then when they come and DM you, you've got a conversation that your social girls can take over and now start promoting through the DMs, which is the Instagram, the Instagram Messenger. And then when they come into the store, because then the response back is, here's a free cheesecake code, go show it to whoever's at the front desk, get a cheesecake code or a cookie or free dessert, whatever that is. Now you've got attention 3 times from them, they'll never go anywhere else and never forget you. And I will bet my money on that. The reason being is you've hit them with direct mail, you've got them to follow you on Instagram, they've now taken an extra step to message you, and now they've come and grab something from you. And now while you're in here, you can get the birth dates, you can get the emails, and now you can kind of do multiple steps of follow-up all the way through that process. And it's cost you a piece of postcard and some Canada Post stamp just to do that entire thing. For mailouts, like people say direct mail is dead. I think direct mail has a lot more attention right now than ever before, especially for small businesses like yourself. It's what that piece of direct mail says and does is what makes the biggest difference. Right? So let's say if you had the Hillcrest Bakery and it just says free cheesecake, you're gonna get attention. People love free. I'm just using cheesecake as an idea, right? Like it can be whatever you want to do, like a free something. Just something where people like, it's going to get their attention, like in big letters, free, and then they flip it over and then you give them the 3 steps that they need to do. Follow us on Instagram, DM us this keyword, and then you'll get your code. The third thing is come into the store. So the entire thing is, or go online and they could place the order online and use a code online, like because you've got the e-commerce stuff. But using that direct mail forceability is huge. Now, the secondary part of that is doing giveaways. I think a lot of small businesses do not capitalize on doing giveaways. So let's say, for example, once a month you chose to give away a birthday cake, or you chose, because like the costs of majority of your costs in a bakery, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's labor costs. Like your highest cost in running, probably the least and stuff is probably your highest. Is do like a birthday cake, but then or something different. One month you do a birthday cake, the next month you do what? If you did a turkey dinner for Thanksgiving, I can almost guarantee this place would be ram-packed. Like if you gave away, like just from people coming in. And then what you do from there is you say, hey, we're giving away a turkey dinner, go follow us on Instagram, DM us Thanksgiving or DM us Christmas, and we're picking one lucky winner. When they do that, what you also get them to do is say, go tag 3 people you're going to share that turkey dinner with on our most recent post. Now what that does is the end audience is going to take and go on your Instagram post. They're going to tag the 3 people that they're going to share the turkey dinner with. Guess what? Those 3 people that they're tagging, for every single person they're tagging, is checking out your Instagram.
Now they know that there's the turkey dinners,
And they know there's Hillcrest Bakery because it's happening on your page. You're controlling that audience.
Right.
Because we used to have a draw for once a month for birthday cakes.
Okay.
That we draw a free birthday cake once a month. And that didn't really...
Well, we used that to increase the email list, and that worked really well as far as getting harvesting email.
Email list, but the big thing is the post-purchase after that. Most business will do free giveaways, but they won't get a post-purchase. Right? So it's like every single month, so let's say you give away a free birthday cake. So when you announce let's say you announce the turkey dinner, because you'd probably want to announce a turkey dinner, I would say by the beginning of October. So people don't, like the winner doesn't go and start buying turkeys and stuff like that, right? So it's like you announce it by turkey dinner by the beginning of October, say, hey, so-and-so won it. Well, guess what? Every single person we want to give back to you for is Thanksgiving, and we're giving you an extra 15% off anybody that buys a turkey dinner from us. So one person won, but now you could potentially double your order rate, but it's by giving an extra 15. I'm throwing arbitrary numbers out there, 15% off. And you could do 100% of this online, and your sales would just start to do that, like increase it. Because it's like most people do giveaways, but they just do the giveaway. How do you get that sale after the giveaway?
So you're gonna have this. We're gonna.
I'll send you the video after. Yeah, we'll send you the video after. Yeah.
I'm not gonna remember half of this.
Yeah. No, we'll send.
We did the $25 giveaway on the Facebook. If they liked
Jenny
the
does
post,
that.
we did that pre-COVID.
Right.
We haven't done it since.
I'm not a fan of doing monetary giveaways, and the reason why it doesn't excite people enough, and unless you're doing like $1,000 plus, like it just doesn't excite people enough. Like if you came to me and if I saw online and I'm scrolling Facebook or Instagram and I see free turkey dinner, I am entering that draw no matter whether I have a chance to win it or not, because the headache that it saves me from having to help my wife prepare a turkey dinner, family, all that good stuff. I'm in. Like, you've got my attention, right? The thing is, your business is fixing somebody else's problem. What problem are they fixing? Give that to them. Going back to the original idea, so if you did the direct mail, even like with the simple one here. Now, another one that you could do is like White Rock's getting to a point where there's a lot of development. Like, whether we like it or not, with the houses specifically, go down Marine Drive, go down any of the big ones, there's a lot of development. What you could even do is, when a house is sold, is send a direct mail specifically to that house, or like whatever houses for that month, like 15 houses or whatever sold in White Rock, and say, free welcome to the neighborhood pie. But for them to do it, they have to do the same 3 steps, because you want their attention after that.
Right.
Because once you get their attention once, you want their attention again. And if you can get their attention again, no matter what. To be completely frank with you, I would drive this street 3-4 times a day. Didn't know you guys existed. But when I moved into Pacific, if I'd known, I would have come and supported you guys since day one. If you were first saying, welcome to the neighborhood from Hillcrest Bakery, we're the oldest business in White Rock, people are like, that's kind of cool. I want to go check this out. They're welcoming me to the neighborhood. They're giving me a free pie. But they have to follow me on Instagram. And then you can ask for whatever you want after that point in time, because you're giving them something back. Right. And then now whenever your girls are sending out the newsletters, whenever they're putting posts on Instagram, they're literally taking that attention and amplifying it at a much faster scale. So
makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Because most businesses will go after and just get that attention one time. But let's be real, how many businesses have come to you and got your attention one time and you've never gone back?
True. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's how do you get them back over and over and over again? That's kind of what I would do from that perspective in kind of going down that road. So I know there's like a lot it's unique, because I love what you guys have done. I love the story. I love the fact that you've been here since '88. Like I said, literally been here longer than I've been on this planet. But it's like a lot of what you guys have to offer is phenomenal. Like turkey dinners, 100% supporting you guys in that for next year Thanksgiving, without a doubt. But it's like, I wouldn't have never known. If it wasn't for my team, I wouldn't have never known.
Right, yeah.
To be fair to you guys, in full honesty, right? And I love the fact that it's such a humble business owners and kind of going down that route. Is, I think the number one thing, the biggest change that I can kind of give you guys in advice from a person that does marketing all day long, is don't focus on the first point of contact, focus on the second, third, fourth point of contact. That's how you'll win business back in here. And you guys will do exactly that for 12 months and don't add anything else to your marketing plan. I can almost guarantee you probably add 1.5 times revenue, if not double your revenue, just that alone. Yeah? Questions?
I'm gonna have to
rewatch that.
Go through the steps again.
It totally makes sense the way you're describing it. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, and it's very simple. Like, I know it's probably like, fire hose to the face right now, because the way I'm explaining to me is kind of thinking, because you've already got the systems. You've already got the one girl doing the phone calls. You're just saying, hey, get a couple more birthdays, get an anniversary. So it's just extending that phone call.
Yeah.
You've already got the girls that are doing your Instagram. So it's like, for them, it's like, now all you're doing is maybe adding a little bit, so what you could even potentially do is do the giveaway weekly, do the giveaway through social. Here's another angle. Do the giveaway through social, and then you know every single month when you send out your mailouts has got to be attached to what that giveaway is. So now you're getting 2 points of attention.
Right, yeah.
And then when she's calling 30 days before, it's like, hey, did you know we're also doing a giveaway for a turkey dinner this month? Now there's 3 points of attention.
Right.
But it's the same amount of work. Right? So that's kind of the way, it's just keeping it simple. And I think that's where a lot of small businesses miss out. It's like they're so, and I get it because we all get into business because we're so ingrained in the business and we work the day-to-day of the business that we forget to work on our business.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, and I'm fortunately grateful enough to be able to share this kind of information with you guys. And I would love to come, like, you know, 12 months from now when I come back and picking up some cookies or something, it's like, hey, this is what's kind of changed, because I would love to see.
Cool, yeah.
So love to see what's going on. So what I'll probably do after this episode is, they'll probably take a couple weeks to kind of get it all edited and stuff. We'll send you the video, but I'll just kind of break down on like a document, kind of what I've shared, and you can take that to your team and implement that for free. As you guys saw in this amazing episode today, we interviewed two unique and very, very humble business owners. They've been around the neighborhood and, you know, have been able to build Hillcrest Bakery and Deli from what it started out to be to where it is today. If you guys are in the White Rock South Surrey area and you're visiting the White Rock South Surrey area, if you're in Vancouver, come give them a little visit. Support this small business because I'm locally owned. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to empower small businesses and, you know, use what we have to share with them and go online and take their businesses to a whole different level. So hope you guys enjoyed this specific episode of Locally Owned, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and also don't forget to do the one thing that's going to help me help the YouTube algorithm to show these videos to a lot more people that probably need it, and that's hitting that like button. So go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.